All right, let's go to this one. This is from the, got out of the, was this Parler? Yeah, this one came out of Parler. Okay. And this is also from the Epic Times. Okay, California Appeals Court overturns anti-misgendering law on First Amendment grounds. This is fantastic. They were gonna, well, what were they gonna do? They were gonna, you could possibly go to jail for misgendering someone in an elder care home. A California appeals court struck down as unconstitutional a state law that penalized elder care workers for using pronouns inconsistent with elderly long-term care patients' claimed gender identity. Gender identity is a disputed concept. A lack of linguistic clarity has clouded the issue in recent years as the concepts of sex and sexual identity or gender, a politically and scientifically contentious concept whose definition isn't universally agreed upon, have become difficult to separate. Despite the distinct meanings of the two words, many institutions and individuals use gender to mean biological sex, especially on fillable forms and documents. Failing to use gender in its new meaning can be costly nowadays. A New York human rights law banning gender identity discrimination imposes fines up to $250,000 for failing to use a person's preferred pronouns. Can you... Are you serious? So you could be fined $250. Now I don't know what specifically. Let's see. From the Washington Post. Okay, there's a link in there to on the Washington Post article. But $250,000 for failing to use a person's preferred pronouns. I don't care what context that is in. That's insanity because you do not use pronouns for a person when you're talking to them in the first place. You're talking to a third person and you use pronouns just for clarity so they know who you're talking about. Anyway, I'd be interested. In fact, I will just open that up to get an idea of how that works. Social media giant Twitter bans users for misgendering or dead naming transgender people, categorizing it as a harassment and abuse. I know people who've been banned for that. Dead naming is referring to people by names they used before they changed their gender identity. For example, calling Caitlyn Jenner by that person's birth name, that guy, Bruce Jenner. Facebook reportedly recognizes at least 58 genders, allowing users to select which gender to use in their profile descriptions, self-descriptions. Among them are androgynous, bigender, cisgender, gender fluid, genderqueer, non-binary, pangender, trans, and two-spirit. Which, I gotta tell you, two-spirit, that was some Indian chief in Canada who just was embarrassed that their son was gay or whatever and just played it off by saying, oh, he is two-spirit. He's two-spirit. But in a rare legal defeat for the transgenderism movement, a ruling by the Court of Appeal of the state of California, 3rd Appellate District, sided with First Amendment speech protections over activists. The ruling by the 3-judge panel was unanimous. The court decision in Taking Offense versus State of California came on July 16th. Taking Offense is an informal group of state taxpayers. The court decision affects lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender long-term care facility residents' Bill of Rights, which the California legislature added to the state's health and safety code in 2017. State Senator Scott Wiener, a Democrat. That's that dude. Oh, he's not a good person. And not because of his LGBTQ activism, because it's because he's not a good person. He has some issues. Anyway, he said in 2017 that he wrote the bill because LGBT seniors face special challenges that weren't covered by existing nursing home laws, local media reported. Now, the thing is, though, they made this law where in nursing homes, it didn't apply to any other part of the state, but in nursing homes where you could be fined and or fired and or, I can't remember it may say here, what the other penalties are for misgendering someone in a nursing home. And it only applied to nursing homes. Now, do you think possibly After passing a law like that in California, some would be like, oh, well, we should just make that a general law in the state of California because we can, because we're the legislature. We can get away with that shit. Anyway, Weiner said he had received reports of LGBT seniors being mistreated. Yes, I'm sure that there's a whole bunch of senior citizens out there who are trans or whatever, and they were just complaining about having the wrong pronouns, right? I'm sure all the seniors who, because this has been a part of their life since the 1970s, right? Because all this stuff is, has been around forever, right? None of this is new. None of this is shit that they're like, what is Zer mean? I have no idea what Zer mean. Never heard of this. This is a weird word. I'm sorry. Anyway. So he continued. We have a number of advocacy organizations that are very excited about the bill that helped get us passed, and they're definitely putting the word out that people living in long-term care facilities have these protections and should be aware of them. He said, yes, because all those trans people at the nursing home are just chomping at the bit to have you pass this law. So here's the provision. But they got overturned. Health and Safety Code Section 1439.51, Subdivision A5, quote, prohibits staff members of long-term care facilities from willfully and repeatedly referring to a facility residents by other than the resident's preferred name and pronoun when clearly informed of the name and pronoun according to court documents. Now, as I said, look, most people in a nursing home are probably going to be registered into the nursing home under whatever name that they sign up for in the nursing home. How many people in nursing homes do you think transition into something else after they end up in the nursing home? Further, how many people do you think in a nursing home decide to inform everyone they're going to change their name and pronouns? Probably not too many. And again, pronouns, you don't use pronouns when you're talking to the person in question. You're usually talking to another nurse and doctor about what should we do about old BB over there. Because his preferred pronouns are he, him. No, it's old BB over there is her when I'm talking to another nurse over here, not anywhere near BB, because it's, BB's female. Anyway, taking offense, challenged that provision, arguing that it violates care facilities and staff members' right to free speech, free exercise of religion, and freedoms of thought and belief, and is vague and overboard. Right on, the court said it recognizes the legislature's. Whoa, listen to this. The court said it recognized the legislature's legitimate and laudable goal of rooting out discrimination against LGBT residents of long-term care facilities. Is it? I thought these were private businesses. You said Facebook's a private business, right? You said Twitter's a private business. You're gonna regulate what people they can't regulate themselves. He stated, but we agree with taking offense that the pronoun provision is a content-based restriction of speech that does not survive strict scrutiny. Well, good for them. The pronoun provision, whether enforced through criminal or civil, they had criminal and civil penalties, is over-inclusive in that it restricts more speech than is necessary to achieve the government's compelling interest in eliminating discrimination, including harassment on the basis of sex, rather than prohibiting conduct and speech amounting to actionable harassments or discrimination as those terms are legally defined. The law criminalizes even occasional, isolated, offhand instances of willful misgendering, providing there has been at least one prior instance, without requiring that such actual instances of misgendering amount to harassing or discriminatory conduct. You know what? That's for something. That's for the employer to decide if they're trying to harass somebody. This is so, oh my God. There is no requirement in the statute that the misgendering at issue here negatively affect any resident's access to care or course of treatment. Indeed, there's no requirement that the resident even be aware of the misgendering. That's the other part. Because if the resident isn't even aware of the misgendering, how could that be harassing the president? I don't know how. Anyway, so good for that judge. I'm sure they'll fight it and it'll go higher than that court. Hey, this is PDawgKnight, and thank you for watching today on the PDawgKnight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cashapp, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here.